Who filed in an Atlanta district court takes aim at the Trump administration for revoking college student visas and deporting them. It seeks to stop the process and bring back students who were deported. That lawsuit claims more than 600 international student visas have been revoked. It's happened at universities all across the country, including right here at UNLV. So here to discuss how we got here, what the law says, and what could happen going forward, we have attorney Matthew Hoffmann from Battle-Born Injury Lawyers. And this one is one that has a lot of headlines to it, but let's talk about how we got here.
Yeah, so I mean, the student visa process, obviously some people had their visas revoked. The bigger issue in the lawsuit is actual deportation. That's what they're really taking aim at. And the reason for that is that the visa process itself, there's really nothing to challenge. So the way it works is to get a student visa, you go through the State Department. The State Department makes all the rules on this. And you can't just say, hey, I want to come to the United States and study. It has to be like, hey, I've already been conditionally enrolled at whatever university or college and whatever program. And that university, college, and program all have to be pre-approved by Immigration's Customs Enforcement. And then you say, okay, so I want to come study at this university in this major. Then you have to show proof that you have financial resources to live in the United States for the entire duration of that visa without any other income. When you think about that, you talk about Columbia, which is basically Manhattan. You talk about UC Berkeley, UCLA's in Westwood. These are expensive places. So the majority of these students come from some type of wealth, or they have state backing from where they're from, or some type of scholarship situation. But assuming you show all that, then, and it's granted, you have to maintain a 2.0 GPA or better, or it'll be revoked. And you can't work the first year you're here. And so you can only focus on studies. Then you get into, well, what kind of things can you be revoked for? And it's completely up to the State Department, honestly. Wow. In 2015, under the Obama administration, they added a provision that if you're arrested, just arrested, for any alcohol-related offense, DUI, minor possession, minor in consumption, you can immediately have your visa revoked. And then when it's revoked, you have to leave. And then you get into the current situation where the people are saying, hey, we've been targeted because of our speech, for protests and things like that. Well, remember, the State Department, if they deem you a threat to national security, or if they feel that you support foreign terrorist organization, in their discretion, they can revoke your visa and they ask you to leave.
Can the students fight back and say, we don't support a terrorist organization? Because I guess the argument is in some of these cases that they protested against what's happening in Gaza, yep, what Israel is doing in Palestine, and they're saying the government, they're for Hamas, where some of these students are saying, no, we're actually for the civilians who have died.
Yes, and that's something they could bring up at the deportation proceedings. Okay. But as to the revocation of their visa, there is no appeal. There is no due process. You are a guest of the United States of America. And the best way to think of it is to put it in reverse. If you were applying for a student visa and they said, well, what do you plan to do when you're here? And you said, well, I plan to protest in favor of Hamas or in favor of the Palestinians, the State Department would most likely not grant your visa. Well, now you flip it around, you did do that, there's proof of it, and they say, we deem you a threat to our country, or we think that you're sympathizing with Hamas, which has been designated by the United States as a terrorist organization since the Clinton administration in '97. So it's not me saying it, it's the government saying it. And so the State Department has full discretion and say, well, fine, fight us on the deportation, and you are entitled to due process, but as to the revocation of your visa, there's nothing to fight. It's over. We've now in our discretion said you have to leave. And if anybody was asking me, like, how would you advise me, what do I do? I would say, well, here's your options. Once the visa is revoked, you can either leave on your own accord, after which you can reapply for another visa or a work visa or citizenship, what have you. Or you can fight the deportation. But if you lose, you may never be able to come back, not even as a visitor, right? I mean, at least 10 years would have to go by before you could come as a visitor. And the chances of you being allowed in the country for a visa are nothing, zero. And there is a chance you could never be allowed in the country because you were deported and you were deemed deportable. So you have to weigh your options if you're one of these students of how hard do I want to fight this knowing I may never be able to come back. That's really what these students are up against. So the State Department has incredible powers because, again, you are a guest of the United States. Yeah. And it's up to their discretion of whether to allow you to continue to be here, studying here.
Yeah, we had a professor from UNLV here last week who was talking to us about this in our 3 p.m. and he was saying that beyond should they go, should they not go, he said that this is going to have a big impact on our local university because they get millions and millions of dollars through these international students who are coming, and he's afraid that regardless of what will happen with this lawsuit or anything else, that program may just end because some students may not want to come here for fear that this could happen to them.
Right, it could have a very big chilling effect. There's over 1 million people here on student visas. And so obviously 600, 800 is a drop in the bucket compared to 1 million, but a lot of money comes with those students, a lot of investment from foreign countries. So
yeah, I think I want to say he said upwards of $15 million. So we're talking about a big number.
Yep.
All right, thanks so much for breaking it down.